Okay, welcome back to the channel. I am here today to revisit this ITEHIL water purification system. So, long story short is they sent me this to make a video, and I made a 42-minute long video where I kind of deemed this thing unreliable. I had some issues that I basically just decided that I would not want to rely on this in a situation where I definitely needed clean filtered water. But with that being said, when it worked and it was fairly impressive. So I wanted to revisit for a few reasons we'll get into. But first of all, this thing is a portable water filter system. It's got a battery, and inside here it has two filters. We got a reverse osmosis filter and a hybrid filter, and it is supposed to filter honestly anything. On the website it says it'll filter cola, it'll filter pool water, it'll filter tea, it'll filter all sorts of things. And I'll get these out of the way. And to a certain degree that was true. It did do that. But I had issues with it staying on. So basically, long story, watch the full video if you want to see it work, not work, kind of work, sort of work, and then work again. But I went down to my local creek, filtered clean creek water, and it worked good. And then all of a sudden it shut off. And then once it shut off, it would have issues where it would turn on, but the light would flash, and then it would shut off again. And then sometimes it would last longer and shut off, and then sometimes it would just shut off, shut off, shut off. It just wouldn't go. And then finally at the very end, I pressed it like button four times to turn it on, and it shut off quickly every time. And then finally I pressed it one more time, basically for comedic effect, and then it ran for a solid 10 plus minutes and filtered urine, actually, is what it did. It filtered urine in water, and it came out clean drinking water. So it finally worked at the end, but I had all these issues before. Long story, I had some people comment on maybe what they thought it could or couldn't be, which was like, maybe it's sucking up too high. Coast Gord said maybe it doesn't have enough power to push everything through the filter, which, when you think about it, it sort of makes a little bit of sense. Because I had issues with this charge light right here that is supposed to light up when it's charging. It did not, which I will show you right now. So I have my extension cord with my charging cable on my phone block. So if I plug it in, absolutely nothing happens. But I had this thing charged on this thing like overnight. So it, to me in my mind, was definitely charged. So I had to outrule that as a possibility. And then at the end, all the shut-offs shut it off. But then eventually when it did run, it continued to run for the 10 plus minutes, the filter. So it couldn't have been the charge that was holding it back. But then like deep down, maybe it was. So if we look, still absolutely no light, right? But I will say, this thing charges my phone right here without issue. And then if we take this off here and we have this external battery pack, and we'll plug our cable in to our light will now light up. So that did not happen before with that exact same power pack and cable combination. I 100% charged it with that cable, and it has a display here where it displays the power, and it took at least 20% of that power into this machine, so like it had charge. But I thought it was interesting that now all of a sudden it lights up. But basically the way I discovered that was I bought this new charging block and cable, essentially to charge my drone. I ordered it on Amazon because I crashed my drone, bought a new drone, and yeah, so I bought it, and then I plugged this in to revisit it, and when I plugged it in, it lights up. So I seen this plugged into that, I was like, huh, that's interesting. But it does not light up with this power. But but for the first time ever, it lights up with this. So I do not really understand what is going on. And originally in my video, I kind of described it as unreliable, which I have not reused this thing since. But it's like now it's doing another new thing. So I think that unreliable tag is still probably there. But with that being said, I do kind of think that this thing is going to be working properly. And I think it's going to filter. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to filter some things. So I'm revisiting the tea test that I did on the last video. So we're going to filter tea. Some other people had suggested that I do beer and wine. So I got a couple bottles of red wine. Shout out to Villa Electric. They gave me a free bottle of wine every year when I worked there and picked up from their office. Anyways, shout out to them. Not a sponsor. I got some Tang, and I got a big tub of BioSteel. So we're going to filter everything here and see if we can get a clean glass of water and see if this thing finally works now that it seemingly is charged to perfection and it is working better than before. So with that being said, I'm going to clear a little bit out of the way, get set up for my test, and then I'll rejoin you with a few of these buckets on the table, and I'll mix up a little concoction, and we're going to filter. Okay, we are officially ready to go. I got my clean water here. I have my ITEHIL here. I got a bucket of water here, which is just clean tap water, ready to be filtered. But I'm going to mix in some stuff. And then we got our clean, not our clean, what did they call it? Our wash water, which is the dirty water. So it separates clean water and dirty water out of the really dirty water. So anyways, with that being said, without further ado, we'll turn this on. And it says it filters or cleans itself for 30 seconds. And then it will start pumping out water. And previously what it was doing was it would do this for a while. And then it would shut off and then not work. So if it stays on, I think it is working correctly. And we'll just have to see. And if we look, we got dirty brine water coming out of there. And we will be patient. For the record, I do have a discount code on this thing, but if I keep calling it unreliable, that might not be valid. But it is charging 20 for 20% off. So I thought I would mention it now, but we'll see if that's still active, and we'll see if this thing works. Oh yeah, you can definitely see dirty water coming out of there from my previous test. And another note is I had 2 sets of filters, so I tried both sets of filters in an effort last time to get it working. So I don't know which ones these are, if they were the first ones or the second ones, but it does feel like it is already working better than before without turning off. There we go. Oh, maybe not. There we go. We are leaking clean water. So with that being said, I'm going to take this Tang and I'm going to squirt it all in my pot of water. And we'll get that super tangy. It feels like a lot. And we will stir it up a bit. And I don't think you can see into there, but you will have to believe me. That is very orange and smells tangy. And you can actually probably see the cable, the hose here, is pretty filled with Tang. So we'll get that filtering. And we're going to set a timer for, let's go 15 minutes. Oh, I'll show you the timer. 15 minutes. And that should give us enough time to filter everything we want to filter here. Still lit? Still lit. Okay, we're gonna get crazy here. I have bio steel powder. This is some sort of hydration powder. Ugh. And we're gonna sprinkle, it's just blue. And I think it's like salty. It's kind of like a Gatorade, but I think with no sugar. So we'll put a couple big old scoops in there. Like I said, that is salty, so I don't know if it'll filter it out. Because the one thing this thing does say is it does not filter seawater. So there's that. Now we are gonna load that up with some tea. That is some sort of orange tea with one Earl Grey tea bag in there as well. But you can see there is definitely a lot of sediment in there. So we'll stir this up and see if it filters. Get some stuff out of the way here. Some water going down here. We'll thin that with a little more water. Oh yeah, that is well, so there you go. We have our clean filtered water out of our dirty Tang water. And it is, yeah, that's crystal clear water. Let's throw it in there. And then we will go back in here. That's the speed it comes out. Now we're gonna really muddy the waters. So, what do we got? Juice Box IPA from Gravel Island Brewing. I'm doing a dry January right now, so I will not miss this. We got one beer in. Get that out of the way. Then we got hop diffuser. Yeah, it's what is the date today? January 15th. So I'm halfway through dry January and I feel great. I've also given up my habit of smoking green. And I feel great. I am yeah, I got nothing but positive things to say about dry January. Oh yeah. Ooh, smells hoppy. Now we're gonna go with the Ville Electric Chabertin Cabernet Sauvignon 2017. Oh, 2016. Let's go vintage. We might do them both, but we'll start vintage. Also noted, I do not have a corkscrew. So we're getting ghetto with it. Now we got red wine going in. Cabernet, a Cab Sav. It doesn't pour that well. Corkscrew would have been a better choice, but dry January means that I do not have a corkscrew laying around. It smells like a ladies' bachelor party in here. A bachelorette party, as they say. Well, there's one full bottle of Cab Sav. And we'll stir this pot up a little bit. Whew, that smells terrible. Still got clean water coming out. And if we taste it, that's still totally clean water. No weird taste or nothing. Let's throw that back in there. Still clean water. What do we got on our time here? 8:15, so we're halfway through just about. You know what? We're going with another bottle of red wine. Get that out of the way. My mom would be so disappointed in me if she knew how much wine I was wasting. It's not wasting. We are learning. Okay, 2 bottles of Cab Sav. And for good measure, one of these Stanley Park Dre Trip lagers. Just because I have them out here. Okay. And we are officially done with the booze going in. So there's still our trickle of clean water. Give this another little stir. Actually, I'll dip in here just to show you. That I ain't lying. That is some dirty, dirty, booze-filled water. And then if we go over here, this is what has been coming out of our brine, our wash water, as they say. We got about half a pot of that. Cork all over the place, all over my phone. You know what? Let's throw some cork in there too. Now what are we looking at? We got 4.5 minutes left on our timer. So you got 10 full minutes of filtering. I think I've gotten 2 full glasses of water and a half are already. Well, there we go. My timer has officially... I'm going to set another timer. Well, I'll set another 15-minute timer. My timer is officially up, so in that 15 minutes, we filtered 2 and... What do we call that? 6/8? 3/4? 7/8? That's almost a full glass. And we... I think that's tasting a little bit off. I feel like it has a little bit of red wine taste. It could be salt from the Gatorade or the whatever I called that stuff. From the BioSteel, but it had a little bit of flavor in there. Well, that being said, I set my timer for another 15 minutes. And I think I'm just going to run this thing. My cameras are probably going to die. But I'm going to keep running it till my cameras die, this thing dies, or I filter enough stuff to make a better conclusion. So with that being said, I'm just going to let it run. And yeah, I'll come back with a conclusion in a bit. Okay, I'm now officially 40 minutes into this test of running it. I have switched to filtering clean water, which is what is coming out now. It's slowed to essentially a trickle, and then I don't even know if it was a trickle at some point, and I was like, oh man, I think I'm going to wreck it, which is fine. I was obviously pushing it to limits. So I put it into clean water, and it is now back to filtering clean water again, and I have filled 3 pots with water, and it is, again, cleaning itself out, the filter in water. It is seemingly working totally fine after 40 minutes of what I would call hard use, but I have this glass of water here, which came out of the test, and we're going to taste it. Oh. Yeah, so it definitely tastes like red wine to a certain degree. There's probably a little alcohol in there. I don't really know. So it cannot do what I just tried to make it do. With that being said, I am substantially more impressed with this ITEHIL now that it is working correctly. It charged up properly, so I guess ultimately that was my problem, was it was not charged fully, which I guess is a user error issue. But I hate to call it a user error because I plugged it into a charger that charges devices for hours, and it seemingly maybe did not take a charge, or took some charge but not enough charge to fully filter everything. But with that being said, it is fairly quick with clean water. Maybe I should go test this again with average water, like maybe go back to the creek I was at and see how that works. Actually, this is gonna overflow. We'll taste this one. Oh yeah, so that's just clean water. So what is coming out now, post Witch's Brew test, is just clean water. And I'll give you a show. This is what has come out in the dirty water. There is, it is very dirty. And again, that's wine, tea, Tang, beer, all that stuff is all in there. So this is very dirty water, if you can even call it water. So that's what came out of the dirty wash water side. So, yeah. I don't really know what to say. You can still see it going. This is now like got to be 45 minutes in, and it's still pumping out water. It is definitely not the fastest thing, and I'm not 100% sold on the use case for it. But with that being said, it is working substantially better now. So, yeah, maybe this does require further testing now that I've solved the issue. But anyways, if you want to see what else you want to filter, I will filter it. Let me know what you want to see filtered, and I'll test it out. And, yeah. Again, I do have a discount code, SargeInc20, although I do not know how long I'll be activated because my other video. I'll shut that off. There we go. We got another full glass of water. I don't know where I trailed off on my words there, nor do I know what we learned, but it is seemingly a better product than I thought it was. It has good, clean water. So maybe now that this is functioning correctly, I'll take it out for some further testing. Something a little bit more normal. It ran for at least 45, maybe even 50 minutes, which I think is a good thing to know. But maybe I should do a volume test on like maybe I'll do a volume test on some creek water, something sort of clean, but something more real life. But with that being said, I don't know what we learned, but we learned something. Peace.